Hello, and welcome to Understanding Trigger Records and Task Sets. My name's Tyson Carter, and this is a question I get asked a lot. Exactly what is the purpose of a trigger record, and how do task sets come together? One way to think of tasks is like an incident. So in this case, we have a car accident. From the perspective of the drivers, one person believes that they've just been rear-ended by another person believes that they've just hit another car. But that might not be the whole picture. For example, if we slide on over, we may see that there are more vehicles involved. That changes the perspective of the second driver to say, I've just been sandwiched between two cars, and this other driver says, I just crashed my van. But again, there may be more people involved in the accident. And as your incident changes, your perspective changes. So now she's saying, I'm in the middle of a pileup, and this last person is saying, I just rear-ended someone. The same thing is true with tasks. The trigger record expresses what their viewpoint is in the task situation, but different records may view the task in a different way. Anytime we have a task, that's where two or more records are explicitly identified together as being a task according to the MPI memtask or MPI inttask tables. The mem tasks are the potential overlays, the index TSK, those are the tasks for potential linkage, review identifier, and potential duplicates. In this case, if we have a task, this task might be made up of 4 different records, but each one of these records could view the task in a different way. But they're all related together as part of the same task set. So really there's 4 different tasks and 4 different records, but they're all interrelated because they represent the same incident. Here we are in Inspector, and I've located a record for Brooklyn Klobbs. I'll notice that she's got a task here. When I click on it, it shows a potential duplicate task. I'm going to go ahead and inspect it. Now, if you remember, a potential duplicate indicates that this record senses another record from the same source. But if we look here, there's actually multiple records involved in this task set. Well, this record right here, with this icon that looks like a cube with a check mark, that is the trigger. That means that this is the actual whistleblower of the task. We're viewing the task from this particular record's perspective. This record, when compared to itself, earns 12.8 points. When compared to this record here, it gets 0 points. When compared to this record here, it gets 12.6. And when compared to this record here, it gets 10. So, if we look at how this data is interrelated, we see that this is a potential duplicate task, which is this record actually being compared to this record. We'll notice that there are additional task icons. So if I open up this task set from the perspective of the record in source A, the task looks a little bit different. To the record in task A, this is a potential linkage task because none of the other records are from source A, so potentially they might link to these other records. You'll notice that the scores are significantly different. This record, when compared to itself, is a 17.6, but as it compares to each of the other records, it earns its own points. So, the score is relative to the trigger. The trigger represents which record owns the task, and the type of task that it is relative to the perspective of the trigger. But when we look in the task set itself, that one task set could have multiple perspectives. So let's resolve this really quickly. If we believe that these are indeed all the same people, we could just move these records together to link them. So I'm going to take this entity here, and I'm going to have it join this entity here. The records that are both in source C, I might want to merge. And there's different ways that I could do that merge, but we'll do what's called a pre-merge. To conduct a pre-merge, I'll drag this record up and have it join the other record. You'll notice that everyone says resolved except for this last record. It hasn't really made any kind of a change, but I'm going to go ahead and set it to resolved as well. Now when we save this task, all 4 of those tasks have been removed from our task list, because that one set of tasks could all be resolved in one sweep. I hope that helps explain a little bit more about a trigger as well as task sets. Thanks, and hope you join us next time.